that's why I think now I still think that there's probably enough biology actually on the farm. We probably don't need to be adding as much and go to more feeding what's there.
The Biological Farming Roundtable podcast helps farmers explore innovative, low-input, regenerative and profitable farming systems. The Biological Farming Roundtable is sponsored by Nutrisoil, an award-winning biological liquid fertiliser made from a big worm farm. Nutrisoil's purpose is to empower farmers to produce life-enriching food. My name is Nakala Maddock. I work at Nutrisoil. I envisage a future where farmers are rewarded for producing nutrient-rich foods and consumers have this easily available to them. Hello everyone, Nakala Maddock here from Nutrisoil. Today I'm here with Brendan Patterson from Mara in New South Wales and agroecologist David Hardwick. We're going to have a chat today with Brendan about how he has increased his soil health. Brendan farms on an annual rainfall of 520 mils and he has a red loam soil. So let's have a chat.
Looking forward to it.
David, you had some thoughts?
So Brendan, yeah, you farm here near Junee, not far out of Junee in southwest New South Wales. Yeah. And how long you been here on the farm?
Well, I grew up here. I only grew up a kilometre south where we are today.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And when did you come back and sort of start helping take over the management of the place? Sort of.
Yeah, well, I did the school thing, worked a little bit at home after school. But mainly then left school and went away and did a trade.
Yeah.
And then came home probably after 6 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Once we sort of took on a little bit more country here.
Yeah. So it's big enough for both of you, and so you come back in,
Yep.
started to farm with your old man, and sort of what was the sort of farming system? What was the package of things you were doing then? The crop sequence and the rotation, and sort of what was the general approach?
Yeah, right. Back then it was we ran what do you call it? We had a lot of sheep.
Yeah.
Bred fat lambs.
Yeah.
Sold them. So we ran a lot of grazing cereals, some canola, oats, wheat, an odd paddock of barley, a few lupins. Yeah. A lot of lucerne clover pastures.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Fair bit of fertiliser going out.
Yeah, a lot of fertiliser in the
Yeah.
cropping system. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing that. Then we were using a low disturbance tine seeder.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we'd gone to after the combine. Worked up a bit of country, coming back in from lucerne.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a work with a knife point to stir a bit of lime back in.
Yeah. Then go into a cropping phase.
Cropping phase for a few years.
Yep.
And then back out into pasture.
Yep. So you had a system that was going pretty well.
Yep.
And,
No, it was good.
Yeah, working here well. So you started at some point to think, I'm going to make a few changes here and tweak a few things. Sort of what sort of triggered you to start thinking about making some changes?
One trigger there was when we had to change our old seeder up. We looked for a new one.
Yeah.
Bought another farm, so it was time to buy a bigger seeder, make that a bit easier sowing.
Yeah.
So we started looking at different options there, and when we went down the disc seeding path.
Yeah, righto.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was a big step.
Big step there in the early 2000s. So get away from burning, any cultivate, working up and stuff.
Yeah. So really trying to go to min zero till and protect your stubble and all that kind of thing. So big change. How did you find that?
Yeah, no, that was all right.
Yeah.
It was good. Like we weren't really doing a lot of burning at that point because it was a pretty dry period. Yeah. The early 2000s. So the old tine seeder generally was able to get through pretty well everything. With an odd one we'd have to do something with, but now with the disc seeder we felt we'd be able to keep that stubble and retain a lot more moisture and hopefully in the dry years be able to still strip some grain.
Pull some crops off, yeah. So that was the big first step, and then what were some of the next changes that started to come up?
Well, after that, then we just general observations, I suppose, after the next probably 5-6 years with that, seeing what was changing in our system, how with all that stubble retention and no disturbance, how the soils changed a little bit.
Yeah. In what way were you seeing the change in them? Like just structure was improving, or a bit more organic matter on the surface, litter layer, like what?
Saw a little bit more. The structure changed a little bit. Seemed to take a few years for it to, I don't know, soften up.
Yeah.
But that seemed to be a comment after that sort of 7 or 8 years that there was, paddocks felt a bit softer to walk on. Yeah. Which was interesting.
You see any more earthworms coming in the paddock, or not really?
Wasn't really looking.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Not really looking at that stage in those sorts of things, but
the soil was softening up.
It was sort of softening, and things were sort of cycling a little bit. And then we got into a couple of wetter years. What was that, like say 2016 was a bit of a point I know I started thinking about things. Yeah. Where it was dry. There was a run of a few dry years coming into that, but then that was a wet year. And I noticed after that we had to put a lot of fungicides out that year. Yeah. And I noticed then, so after that, the stubbles weren't breaking down as well. Yeah. So things had to start looking for some change.
Yeah, righto.
Because previous to that, things were cycling well.
So coming into a wet year, which you hadn't had with the new tillage approach or non-tillage approach. So how did you, like obviously burning is one way you might tackle that stubble load, but you were looking at something else? No,
well, we'd sort of still never burnt anything. Yeah. We'd still sow through that and establish our crops quite well. We were sort of looking at a lot more insect pressures after that year. Yeah. Watching 17, what happened there. That's when the change came around our stripper front to change that habitat. Yeah. A little bit for the slugs and millipedes. Yeah. But no, it was sort of, to keep things cycling, we just had to stop that fungicide use. So
because fungicides potentially are a bit of an elephant in the room in terms of disrupting the whole paddock system in terms of plant-soil relationships and all of that. Yeah. They're a bit of an elephant in the room that we're probably all starting to realise.
It was. Yeah. But no, just sort of just started to rethink about not just putting it out for the sake of putting it on, because that's what we'd sort of been doing. Yeah. To a point in certain crops, but those years we just had to start rethinking it. So I spent the next couple of years really looking at ways to avoid using them. That's where I
without taking too much risk.
Without taking away that yield loss, sort of the penalty there by not doing it. Yeah. Started playing with a few different things then, and
so what were you playing with? Obviously not Tonka trucks.
No, just sort of looking into then, got into a bit more of the foliar approach for some nutrition. Yeah.
So just trying to fine tune the nutrient status of the plants in crop to keep their resilience up. Yeah. Plant health. Yeah.
Just started sort of 16 onwards. I sort of started going down to Vic No-Till conference. Got involved down there and just hearing different stories around the place. Just what was bringing the diseases in. So we just went down. Trialled a few paddocks in 17 with some foliar nitrogen instead of spreading it. Yeah. And to see what happened there. Yeah. Yeah. And so that just sort of kept going from there.
Snowballed, yeah. Opened a whole new can of
worms. So that was sort of started sap testing and foliar nutrition.
Yeah. So you're really trying to make sure the plant's nutritionally, really well off so that it's more resistant to problems initially. That's a really proactive way of trying to minimise the problem initially.
Initially, and lessons learnt over the last few years is if you just got to put a fungicide on, we just got to do it. Yeah. Certain years require it. Yeah. Most years, well, I reckon I can get by without it. Yeah. Some years you just got to.
Always that year. Yeah. So you sap testings now and tissue testings now in the toolbox pretty regularly. Is it a fair comment to say that if you want to use them as a tool, you've got to go in boots and all and do it regularly and build up your knowledge of your crops and soil types? Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, it's a good comment. Yeah. And I've got files there from back to 17 where I started, and now I'm going out every month. Pretty well the start of each month. There's a bit of a gauge, but just doing it every 4 weeks. Yeah. Same general area in the paddocks I'm just doing. Yeah. Yeah, just to build up what's going on with that crop for the year.
And it gives you that longer term knowledge too with that crop, even variety type on those soils. And
just learning over time, starting to get to know wet years from dry years, what's happening at certain times of the year. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it's making the job easier to go out and apply a foliar, what's got to be required and can be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say your starter fertiliser proportion in starters switched obviously to a bit more foliar, like that ratio? Well, obviously you weren't doing foliars at all back in the beginning, but you've switched it across, so there's a fair bit of the nutrition going out as a foliar rather than up front with the starter blend?
Yeah, well, we changed a lot of our starters back about 2000.
Yeah.
We dropped MAP out then. And
Oh, right, way back then.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
In 2000.
2000, oh, sorry, 2020.
2020, yeah.
2020, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
2020 and went into the bioferment then. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've switched, the other change you've sort of gone through is using some more biologically activated nutrition programs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sort of became an observation through the 17, 18, 19 around the biological function of the soil, what was happening. Doing a lot of research online, YouTube.
Yeah.
Watching some conferences from overseas that you could sort of get your hands on.
Yep.
Some recordings.
Yeah.
Seeing people travelling.
Yeah.
Just learning a lot more about what was going on in the soil and what was causing things to do what.
Yeah.
And then I realised, well, what we've been doing prior to that point was actually helping in a way.
Yeah.
Like we'd seen a lot of improvement by default for what we were sort of up to, where we'd started reducing a lot of our urea.
The solubles out of the program.
Yeah, started reducing some MAP. Well, I can't remember when. But instead of going from 80 kilos up front, well, we sort of came back to that sort of 30 kilo point before I dropped it off.
So do you think a lot of the improvement that you see when you change a paddock over in a cereal or in a cropping situation is if lowering the solubility is as big a lever as adding biologicals in? Do you reckon it's just as important, or it's more important than some of the biological tactics to just lower that solubility in the program in terms of improving soil function and plant health? Or
yeah, we've sort of gone away from the soluble aspect of it to being more biologically available.
Yeah.
We've sort of learnt a lot of timing's important to have that work right.
Yeah.
Soil temperature and everything else.
Because you risk nitrogen cycling if it's too cold. And I don't have the big bucket of nitrogen in my organic matter because it might be low from whatever reason. So I potentially risk that lack of nitrogen sulfur cycling to the crop.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're still applying some nitrogen and sulfur. I know we just need it. But the P's just that different one. I think we're using a lot of slow release phosphorus, soft rock phosphates, and it's just been, or guano, and it's been all right. But then I don't know how to explain a lot of it, but look at soil tests and that.
Yeah.
Everything's still there. Like we're not mining it, we're still, everything's cycling, I think.
Yeah, and the yields are reasonable, and the tissue analysis in the crops are reasonable. So it must be, the soil system must be delivering P to the crops through the season.
Yeah, I think it is with all our cycling now, with all our stubbles and that. That's all cycling back, and I know
you're seeing the stubble break down faster than a few years ago. Yeah,
it is now again. We've got it back to cycling quickly.
Yeah.
So it's just been one of those things to try and make the system work without that fungicide approach to keep it cycling. I know that's crucial to giving the crops that nutrition.
Yeah. Yeah. You're trying to get the good fungi working rather than worrying about too much the pathogens that, switch the focus.
Yeah.
So have you used stubble digesters or any of these type of things to help you drive that change, or just by changing the overall kind of biology balance, those decomposers are kicking back in? What are your thoughts there?
It's a lot of different thoughts. I think a few years ago I thought we sort of had to add a lot of strains of different things in to help with those things.
Yeah.
But sitting back looking now, I think it's all there. We just had to feed it and promote it.
Create a better environment for it.
Yeah. Look after what we had naturally.
Yeah.
So
in the field of ecological restoration, like when they rehab mining sites or whatever, or trying to save biodiversity, one of the first principles is reduce the threatening processes. Is the first step. Like there's no point doing all this rehab if I've still got the same threatening process going on.
there's no point putting out some
beneficial
bacteria or some fungi there, and then go and whack it with a fungicide and kill it all.
Same process. Yeah.
So we'd sort of worked out how to survive without a lot of that stuff anymore, insecticides and fungicides, and we could then start promoting everything again. So when we added something, we knew it would survive.
And do its job. Yeah.
So, and I think the soils at that now have really started to change. Yeah, we can see that A horizon's developed a lot more. It's gone from sort of a couple of inches now out to sort of 100, 150 mil of that A horizon. It's gotten darker. It's a lot softer.
Getting a bit of structure back in there. You seen earthworms yet or not?
Yeah, there's plenty of earthworms.
No, it's good.
No,
so the other big change is you bought a spade and started to dig a bit, or pinch someone's spade.
There's always a shovel in the back of the head. Yeah. If you can't find the worm, you just stick a bucket of water on the ground. They'll come back up.
They'll come up. Yeah. You can stick mustard. Put some mustard powder in the water and tip that in, and that drives them to the surface.
Okay.
So saves you having to do too much manual labour.
Stay away from our worm beds. So creating the habitat, how do you do that? So you talked about the stripper front first of all, and the word habitat came up there. Tell us what you meant by that.
Well, back there, with all the residues coming out the back of the header, it was just sort of chopped up chaff that just sort of sat on the soil. When you get a rain, it sort of squashed, and I don't know, it's like lawn clippings. You get a big pile of lawn clippings. The water doesn't really
suffocates
the ground. It doesn't breathe. The water doesn't really infiltrate it. It sort of washes off or just sits in the top. So we sort of got rid of that layer, which is generally where a lot of slugs and millipedes and earwigs, and they seem to thrive in that environment where it was.
They wait there for the young crop, and then go, let's just wait here until the crop's up.
And not only that, there was an issue sort of sowing in with the disc seeder, the really thick areas of that. So we got into the stripper front, which then just took away all that really fine trash.
So there is such a thing as too much trash, or just how it's distributed in the paddock?
I think it's just how it is distributed in the paddock.
So you've got tall
stubble. And it's just, instead of mowing everything off at ankle height and leaving it on the ground, it's just really tall, and we just run through it with the seeder real easy.
It'll help with wind in the dry years, hot time too. It'll just help with that wind.
Yeah, the wind factor.
It seems to create another climate on the surface, like a lot of shading. Soil doesn't get as hot in the summer, so that's really good for the bugs. They're not, And then when it rains, well, it just stays wet. It's not drying out. The wind's not on that surface anymore.
Giving you that evaporation, and
We've just found a lot of those decomposers have come back, and they're cycling everything then. So then when we sow through the paddock, well, we tend to roll. Half it gets rolled over, and leave a little bit standing, but some of it's still on a bit of an angle for a bit of protection for the wind. Which seems to work.
Was that a big decision, buying that stripper front?
Well, I've been looking at them for a while.
Yeah.
I knew that's where we had to get to. It was always going to help us get away from all those establishment issues that we were sort of having for a couple of years in certain conditions. If it rained at sowing, you might have hairpinned a little bit or something, but we tried the Arix wheels and stuff, but that just became more of a hassle than any good. So after a year or two of them, I took them off. I found they stirred up more weeds than actually moving the trash out of the way.
Do you see something coming along after the stripper front? Like, is there any complications at the moment, or anything holding you back that you think, I wish it could tweak, I wish there'd be something that would tweak?
Flame weeders or something like that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's next in that area. But I think the next thing we're really focused on is just that plant nutrition, how to get things healthier at the start and survive without a lot of inputs and still maintain good production. Whether we can do it or not, I don't know.
So you're really fine-tuning your nutrient programs, and you're doing really regular monitoring now with sap tests, tissue tests, soil tests. So you're really trying to get very targeted in that program, which is obviously a bit more work than a normal program where you're just putting the starter out. What about from a cost point of view? versus a kind of general starter with maybe some N to keep something going in a good year or capture that extra yield? What do you reckon the overall sort of pros and cons of the two cost base and two approaches?
Yeah, well, the prescriptive synthetic farming's pretty simple.
Yeah, and it gets a job done. Like
it's easy. You just know what you're doing.
Yeah.
With what we're up to, it's a bit busier, hectic. But then I'm doing a lot more observations and doing SAPs, but trying to then target my program then to not spend as much on the input side of things.
Yeah.
But then trying at the other side, maximise the production too by giving it a trace element that it probably required that it wasn't getting otherwise.
Yeah. And minimise the risk of disease, giving yield penalty as well.
Minimise the disease risk, but that also, because we do get a lot of frost here, minimise the overall expenditure. So at the end of the day, it's all risk for reward. So just reducing that cost. So if we've got a frost, well, we haven't lost as much. But still trying to maintain that production.
Yeah.
So monthly testing, and then you've got varieties of different seed, and then you've got varieties of seasons. How are you making those decisions and comparisons? Where do you see that?
That's a good one. Every season does change. We seem to be in a run of wet years at the moment, which is proving its own challenge.
Yeah.
We're very good at getting things to work in the dry years, which I think's where our system was really suited to the drier seasons, not so much the wetter seasons.
Which system are you talking? The one that you've moved?
The one that we're doing now, like with our disc seeder, stripper front.
Yeah.
Very good at infiltrating water,
Yeah.
water retention.
Yeah.
Preparation for those dry years to grow something, but now it's been running pretty well.
Yeah.
3 years non-stop.
Yeah.
Do you think part of that is because there's not as much free drainage below that topsoil level that's not allowing a bit more drainage to go on just from the historical paddock condition, or do you think what do you put it down to that the wetter years the soil system's not quite going as well as say in the dry years?
Well, in the wetter years, we're getting the water to infiltrate.
Yeah.
But then we're not having the chance to utilise it because
So we haven't got as much, and there's
we've got no
cloudy days
evaporation off the soil.
More cloudy days, less plant growth. Yeah.
Plant just seems to have to transpire the water, grow biomass. But all our soakages are running really well.
Yeah.
We've even got a few new ones that have opened up, so there's plenty of water in the profile. It's a bit of a negative for what we're up to.
Yeah.
But you can sort of see it now. A lot of the gullies that we've filled in for cropping years ago, because they never ever were wet. They were just sort of in the way and growing weeds.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've filled them all in years and years ago, but now the last 2 years they've been very wet.
They're running as a gully or as
They're
a
a gully, and you can sort of see that obviously in time. It generally was wet like this.
Yeah. Okay.
And they run water years ago, which is why it eroded.
Yeah.
Some of them have just been running for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see why it eroded the way it did.
Yeah.
So those just been little challenges, but
Well, one of the ways you're trying to deal with that is with the companion cropping, intercropping. Can you, just take us through when you first started to trial some of those dual crops or intercrops or whatever term you want to use, companion crops?
a lot of terms there.
Yeah, there are. They're often used the same sort of way, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I started playing with some of them probably in 18, 19, finding some mixes. Some of it was for grazing around livestock.
You still had livestock then?
No. Oh, yeah, about I think 16 or 17 they left.
Yeah.
But we'd always buy in a few steers to grow out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'd always have something then as a multi-species, you'd call it, grow early, grow some bulk, put some cattle on it, and then trade them off later and lock it up and strip it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, they've been too dear to buy.
Yeah.
So it's been still wanting to have the mix for some diversity, try and keep improving our soils around the diversity, different exudates from the roots. So it's been putting a couple of things together, still sown early, and then cereals. Well, I've had wheat same with vetch and tillage radish, and then sprayed the broadleafs out later on to bring it back to a monoculture for harvest logistics.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the canola I've left with canola and vetch, and stripped it and then separated the two different seed sizes afterwards, or canola and beans. Yeah. Even to the point last year did beans and lupins together as well. Just purely just for where the paddocks were and what I wanted to achieve there.
Yeah.
So it gives you more flexibility in wet conditions to choose what you're growing there.
Yeah, like we were seeing last year with the canola, where it was really wet, the canola would sort of die out.
Yeah.
Whereas the vetch would stay and grow. So at the end of the day, we were still achieving a yield off all the paddock instead of missing and having zero areas.
Photosynthesis coming in on those areas that would have been bare.
Stop the weeds growing, something was growing, so we still generated some income.
Fixing nitrogen.
Fixing a bit of N, helps out with next year's crop, help with all the stubble cycling. But I've also seen this year with all been a bad year up here this year around slug pressure.
Yeah.
A lot of people having a lot of slug issues. So it's sort of been another thing that's really convinced me around that companion planting is where the slugs were, or millipedes or sloters were wanting to eat all the canola, well, they left the beans, they left the vetch. So we still actually had something growing there.
Yeah.
But the canola never seemed to be wiped out totally. You still got 1 or 2 plants of canola there, which I know will still act as a trellis for that vetch later in the spring to climb up and be able to achieve what its potential will be. Yeah.
So you're saying really these companion crops are more for risk, managing risk, as well as increasing soil health.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like, do you get more yield?
Well, last year you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nil strip with just the monoculture canola obviously yielded less than where it was canola and vetch.
Yeah, okay.
But last year was a wet year, so the vetch was just extra.
Yeah.
But then also on the other side of that, 8 out of 10 years, the vetch is worth more money than canola too.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a little bit of a win.
Yeah. You talked about less weed pressure in companion cropping. Is it because it's using more moisture?
Or coverage, just physical
Yeah.
coverage.
Yeah, I think that when things go right, you get better cover. So there's no holes for the things. But I just know, like, where last year in some of the monoculture canola where the slugs ate out a patch, a lot of rubbish grew.
Yeah.
But in the other paddocks where we had a bit of vetch or beans growing in there, it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
Still got a few plants there because it was still open enough, but we still...
They could still give that coverage.
Yeah, we still got something to grow. It wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
But
So the changing to dual cropping or companion cropping, how big a change from a logistics, point of view of planting gear and seed boxes, and like how much of it logistics is it? How do you rate it in terms of tweaking farming business? How big a problem or challenge is it?
Oh, it's a pretty good challenge. It's logistics haven't been too bad because I've just blended it together before sowing.
Yeah, right.
So it all goes into one bin.
Yeah, right.
As I don't have multiple bins on my air cart. Love to, but it's just one of those things I know I can blend because the ratios aren't all that. They're pretty low ratios. So I've worked out that I can just blend it as I load the truck at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's made that easier. Separating after harvest, we store at home in grain bags and then separate.
Yeah, so you can
harvest.
grade it off if the seeds are pretty different. You can
Yeah, 2 different distinct seed sizes makes that easier.
Yeah.
I went and bought a scalping unit last year to do all that myself instead of hiring a grading machine. Yeah, so I just do it myself now.
Is it very time consuming, like adding that extra job?
It is. It's just one of those things you do.
Yeah.
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 If you want it to work, you make it work. Yeah.
So Brendan, you just talked about time consuming when it comes to seed grading. What about biofets? Should we now talk about them?
A lot of time in them. Yep.
You're trying to make it simpler.
I am. It is. I knew the first year would be pretty consuming because really wanted to make sure it's right. To understand it, the only way to do it is to do it yourself and learn how to mix everything properly. Brewing it all and everything else, like, just takes time and to know the steps to go through it all. I just know then the second year it was a lot quicker.
Yeah.
I worked out shortcuts, got around, bought a bit of different gear, changed some infrastructure, just to make things easier. Yeah.
What was the most time consuming in the first year? Just research and learning, or mistakes, or?
Well, from 16 onwards, spent 3 years looking at what to do, how to change things, while still reducing our MAP and urea rates, just winding down slowly. So as when I do decide to take the step, well, I knew what I'd be doing, whether it was a compost, teas, extracts, or going down the bioferment path. And I felt the bioferments were probably more beneficial, because to me the bioferments were about getting the benefit from the livestock without running the livestock.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and because we got rid of the sheep, made that decision back in about 16 to move away from them, and then just run a few cattle from time to time. Well, yeah. So to me, this was the benefit of running the cow without running the cow across the farm. So,
is that because the base of them had manure and offal and things in them?
so you got the benefits from all the manure.
Yeah.
But being able to apply it evenly across the farm.
Yeah.
Without having the animal walk across it and compact it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where did you learn about them?
Internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, the internet. Did a bit of travelling. Went overseas with Vic No-Till in 2017. Looked at a lot of companion plantings, sort of some stuff in composts and things, just how to be more biological, look at things through the States. From that, come back, listening to talking to different farmers around and seeing what they've been done, and hearing different people talk at different conferences. Then travelled over to Western Australia, had a look over there for a bit. Every year look around Victoria, South Australia with people I know and what they're up to, how they've changed what they're doing, what they've found working and not working. And then went off and did a course with Tim Cruz on the bioferments, how to make it, and apply all that in 2019, I think that might have been. Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you get to a point where you learn how to tweak them all yourself and you don't stay with the recipes, or is it something that you just go, that's a recipe for this, that's a recipe for that? Like, what's the flexibility you've got in making these bioferts? Just tell us what's involved, basically.
Oh, they're all pretty flexible.
Yeah.
I've found over a couple of years. Seems to be a matter of me working out what works for me and suits what I'm up to here and what my crops want, what my soil wants. Our sowing mix, I just started off by making just a multi-blend shotgun mix of just what I felt I knew I was generally lacking here in my soils and the crops needed. And then just started to balance it after that through the foliar sprays after sap testing. I could then target.
So you give them a bit of a Rolls Royce starter, bio starter, and then just tweak it with the foliars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just low amounts of just about everything at the start, and then just touch it up as the year went from there. Yeah. So
you basically set your whole shed up, and you really, for a whole 2 years, were making your own fertilisers.
Yep.
Tell us about it. Like.
Oh, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Everyone just said it's no different to making beer.
So true.
So
or
true.
kombucha.
Yeah. So, but just larger scale, that's all.
He's offering eco funeral services if you want to just get your corpse dissolved at the end of your life in the car.
The hardest thing I found was to physically go and get that starting point, whether it was the cow paunch, which I did the first year, having access to that when you don't actually run any cattle.
Yeah.
But found a way to source that, and then second year it was moved over and went to the manure. Yeah, a little bit easier to source by going and seeing a mate down the road and shoveling up some manure and bringing it home and doing what we had to do.
Yeah.
But then, it all took time. But then realising the quality of the manure, what the cow's been grazing on, to get the better quality organisms in that manure. Drenching, like the cattle being drenched and whatnot.
It can be pretty variable, that quality.
So
of manure.
A lot of variability started to, I think about that.
Yeah.
So it was then to move to, still wasn't that bad a job to work with the manure. To me, I found that quicker and easier than the paunch.
Yeah.
But it's still just something to go and do. And the last 2 years, well, we've gone to then just reproducing a lot of BAM, beneficial anaerobic microbes, and using them as our base.
You've been making them yourself?
Just buying them in concentrate and
Yeah.
then reproducing it,
Yeah.
expanding it out. Just because that was just been quicker and easier.
Yeah.
Because we've had harvest run a lot longer the last couple of years with wet harvest, relentless summer spraying program, and therefore just not been quite organised.
Yeah.
That time thing. And I've sort of learnt that it might not be as good a quality as the cow base, but it's being a good substitute at the
It
moment.
does a job.
It's doing its job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's different starters out there, like some of them you can make and some of them you can buy, and they're probably, if they're fermenting well, then they're obviously doing a job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and I'm seeing that as being, plus it's one less step. We're not, everything that's going into those tanks, so like all the sulfates dissolve. That starter's just a liquid. There's no solids to be filtering out at the end too.
Yep.
So it's just one less step, which I found beneficial.
Handling.
Yeah.
Yep, handling and ease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've learnt just to tweak it to suit you.
Just tweaking little things to suit our workload, timings. Yeah.
But if you hadn't have done it from the start, you wouldn't have learnt how to tweak it
No.
yourself. And you talked about how exciting it was.
It's pretty exciting. I still want to go back to use the manure.
Yeah.
I still see it's beneficial.
Yeah.
It's just having that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in time we'll probably do a bit of a blend between both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think then still mixing it up, getting some diversity, and just whether we've got enough of the cellulose digesting bugs in what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Whereas using the cattle manure, I know there's some in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Could
So
do
you
a slurry type approach where you make a slurry out of manure, combine it with one of the off-the-shelf starters, and you get a bit of best of both worlds
Best of
without
both
the
worlds.
suspended fibre and all the rest of it. Yeah.
because that was difficult to obviously start off in a shuttle. It's always a lot in the shuttle. You go, it doesn't come out the taps at the bottom.
Yeah.
Same with the big cone bottom tanks. It's always awkward to get that out the bottom.
Yeah.
So it was just good to move away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And knowing also that I could also filter all that before I put it in the tank too. Some of that really coarse
Yeah.
residue off early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also make it a bit easier too.
Yeah. You're talking about still chasing different strains. Like, is putting the whole system together not enough? You're still looking for different strains for in everything you do, or what's making you consider that? Is there things that weren't working that you've gone, well, what microbe does that, and do I have that? Do I think I'm making that? There must be a lot of questions. Is it? Am I putting out the right thing? I'm making it myself. There's no QA here.
No, there's not. And
Helping
there's sort of, unfortunately, there's sort of no one to really go to to find this. Like it's, it's basically observations at home
Yep.
along the way, and every year's different. So you're sort of chasing something different all the time, trying to find a good all-round base, which is, I don't know, hard to work out what's the good average to start with, and
Yeah.
that's why I think now I still think that there's probably enough biology actually on the farm. We probably don't need to be adding as much and go to more feeding what's there.
Yeah.
And
Look after
the
it.
plant root, the exudates from the plant roots and the diversity of plants is going to do as much of the heavy lifting as anything else.
Yeah, instead of chasing these one or two certain strains, I think
Yeah.
they're probably there, but we just need to.
But the fact you're saying your stubble break down much more effectively tells you that there must be the fungi that do that job out there working now that weren't working before.
Yeah. No, it's and I think it's around the crop rotations, like having a really good legume every couple of years to help with some nitrogen, to help digest all that high carbon residue.
Yeah.
Whereas I know in our cropping system we've had a phase there where we went faba beans and then canola for weed control, but we just had no carbon residue on the soil surface.
Yeah.
So all that nitrogen just started to consume all the root structures in the soil, even break down all the carbon bank.
Yeah.
So we're seeing organic carbons go down a little.
Yeah.
But since we're tweaking our rotation around a bit more and try and have that cereal crop at least every second year or a couple of years in a row, we've actually seen that
Balance that carbon and nitrogen
ratio balance out. I think that's why the companion works well with it. Just keeps things ticking over and digesting. And
another benefit that isn't really a yield benefit of these
not so much that,
companion
but just
crops.
in the way the residue cycles and
efficiency of nutrient cycling, which in the long run is going to lead to evenness of yield and all that kind of thing.
building that A horizon, getting that carbon levels up, which you can see. You just put the shovel in the ground and just see that A horizon's gotten darker and deeper.
Yeah.
So I know things are going the right way.
Yeah.
As long as the bank balance is not going
And
backwards too.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
like,
has that been a standout for you?
Like it's a challenge, like it's a business. We've got debts like everyone does.
Yeah.
And to still try and still got to have money coming in. You still got to be profitable.
Yeah.
So
Hence the long-term transition.
slow transitions, moving things slowly, not just sort of jumping straight in. And, I've done a bit of that in the past, and some things have worked and some things haven't. And you know,
It's about managing that risk as you change over, isn't it? That's important. Yeah.
just getting out and going and looking at it for a few years before actually implementing a change. Instead of just seeing what, this worked for Joe Blog, I'm going to do that. And realising it doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Understanding what some of the different contexts are involved between where you are and where that person is.
Yeah.
Different climate challenges.
There's
different
climate, the
soil
soils,
type,
different pHs.
seasonal rainfall patterns, all of that comes in, doesn't
There's
it?
a lot of things that have changed, and I've learned over years to really look at a lot of things. Definitely go and travel.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
Yep.
You talked about there being no guide, like you actually have to work it out yourself. What about the fear of over-application on foliars? Has that ever been a concern to you?
Not a over-application, probably more of an under-application, because I'm only putting low amounts on.
Yeah.
So to me, over-applying something, I don't think I would, because I'm just doing a sap test on the Monday and then be in there with a boom spray the Thursday, Friday or early the next week.
That's the quick turnaround. That's
Quick
amazing.
turnaround, so I can see if it doesn't want copper, well, it won't have copper go in the mix if the copper levels are high.
Yeah.
So
Even then, and the rates per hectare are not high in the mixes.
no, they're only low rates.
Tank diluted, so your risk overall is kept pretty low, isn't it?
It's regular applications of small amounts.
Yeah.
To me, we might only be doing one extra pass in a boom spray, but a year. But most of the time, we're always running over it with a heap of herbicides and a couple of fungicides anyway, or a fertiliser application with a spreader.
Yeah.
So to me, we're just running the boom spray instead of a spreader a couple of times.
Yeah.
So the actual paddock operations is pretty similar. It's just what's going out.
It's just out one machine instead of two. Yeah. So we do still spread a little bit. Still spreading urea early. I think I've had a go at doing foliars from the start, and I just haven't been able to make them work as well.
Yeah.
So I think a low application with urea still early winter is still beneficial here where we are.
Yeah, but not at sowing. At sowing, it's just your biological mix.
Yeah, just got just my sowing mix, a little bit of starter N, a little bit of UAN, just to give it a kickstart at the start.
Yeah.
We've learnt that we still had to have a bit of nitrogen at the start to get things going. And
what's your organic matter or organic carbon levels here? Like, what do you run at? What's sort of the range there, Brendan?
1.5.
Yeah, righto. Yeah. So there's a couple of paddocks that are below that, but there's a fair bit of the country's up. A bit above that,
Some of them now just touching
I guess, I just asked that because obviously nitrogen lives in that organic matter reserve. That's a super fund, and if it's not big, then you don't have a lot for that starter.
Yeah. Now we've seen it coming up slowly. Which is good, but we're just still spreading a little bit. I just think we need a little bit of that, give it energy to get the crop to grow through the winter when it gets cold and wet. And I just think that small plant, trying to put a foliar on, I just couldn't get that to work properly.
Yeah.
For a major nutrient too.
It's cold, the biology's shut down. Like soil temps are only 8 degrees.
Yeah.
Things are slow. So we'll kickstart all that back in sort of August.
Yeah.
When things warm up and everything starts cycling,
So you've been using tissue and sap testing for maybe 6 years now, consistently.
Yep.
What lessons have you learnt from it, or what's your general summary that you can give us? Is it a useful tool?
I do find it useful. It's been really good to know at what crop stage a crops using what. So I know now, coming into that period, to really elevate those levels. Especially like a good ones like in canola at that flowering stage, like the calcium just has such a big draw on calcium in the plant. I suppose it's rapidly growing, producing seed, so a lot of cell division. So keeping things like that topped up coming into that stage, yeah.
You know it's coming.
Yep, and know what it's using. So that's just taken a few years to
get the pattern.
Putting it together, looking at heap of saps and looking at seasonal changes too. You can see what crops using what in certain years too, yeah.
Yeah.
And especially when you see insects or grubs in your paddock, you seem to know already what's going to be low, because I'll see something in there, I'll go and do a sap test just to see what's low, why has it brought the insects in.
Yeah.
So it's just...
And that's really what we said early on in the conversation, Brendan. You know, if you're going to use it, go in boots and all, do it regularly, build up your understanding over time.
Yeah.
In conjunction with observation.
Yeah.
And making notes and putting a database together. Is that what you've done?
Yeah, just got it all there on file. I really got to organise it a bit better, but just seeing what's happening, what trends are. Yeah. So I'm still learning a lot with it, and take a while yet too, but it's just an idea what to have ready to go.
Yeah.
Because making your own chelated nutrition, well, you just need to, doesn't happen in one day. You just don't duck down to the shop and grab it. It takes time to ferment everything, dissolve everything, put it together, let it bubble away for a while.
I guess the ferments, the good thing is they usually have a pretty good shelf life too, so they can sit there.
Just knowing that having the bases right, ready to go, and away we go.
How long do they need to bubble away for, generally?
That's the thing, they're there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. You've got to be ready.
Got to be ready, organised, so it's taken a few years to be organised.
Yeah. What's your top tip in companion cropping?
Oh, God.
Hemp, he's going to say hemp, you know that.
Hemp.
Companion cropping. Yeah, basically know what you're in for. If you're going to strip it all, put it together to harvest, know what you're going to do, how you're going to separate it, storage, marketability. If you can't separate it, where's a marketplace to put it when it's all mixed together still. So just being prepared for what comes out at the other end,
A bit like farming, have a place to send their product at the end. Don't do it without that in your mind.
Storage, just know what you're getting into.
So Brendan, sort of, what's the current things you're kind of working on? Like, where's the next area of sort of improvement that you're looking at with the farm, with the agronomy and growing the crops and things?
Marketability of our produce.
So that's coming back to the quality of the
product.
Nutritional density, those kind of
things.
Yep.
We've done a bit of early analysis a couple of years ago around that, and saw that there was a difference between our stuff and some conventionally grown stuff. There seems to be a lot more chatter now out in the marketplace around
there's a new certification, Regen certification program, give you more paperwork.
That's it. But there's a lot of things coming, I think, in the next couple of years. Being prepared for that, knowing what we've got and actually what they want. Which is interesting. So we've got more stuff we'll send away this year for analysis again. To keep knowing which way we're going, that we are going the right way. And when it's here, we will be ready. And it's all positive so far. Looking at some of the tests so far, they've all come back very positive.
What types of things are you doing testing in?
There's sort of nutrients, the nutrient density of it.
Fat profiles.
Fat profiling, healthy fats.
So that means a whole lot of new labs that you're going to have to deal with, and new jargon. And
that's it. But it's just trying to make sure we can achieve something. If it's a better quality, well, why can't we get something better for it?
And that nutrient testing is basically just ground up grain and a tissue test. Yeah, but that's what you're sending it away for.
Sending it to a lab to get all done properly and the analysis come back. So that's pretty interesting when you get into it.
My boss on the dairy used to do it with his eggs.
So interesting that it's farmer led, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
Nutrition.
once you start looking at it, you see that there's a lot of low quality stuff out there. And, you know, it's just up to people further down the line to start recognising it. And
I'm ready to eat your buckwheat, mate. Just get it in some retail packs in Albury and I'll be buying it.
Yeah, righto. There you go. Watch this space.
I will be, don't worry.
Yeah, well, look, I just think it's really exciting. And like you said, you were so excited doing these bioferments, just trying to understand how things work. And now you're really excited about finding out the nutrient and the quality of the food. Like we're really grateful that there's farmers like you out there, Brendan. So thank you. Thank you for chatting with us today.
Thanks for having us, Brendan. It's been great.
Please follow the Biological Farming Roundtable podcast. Share it with your friends and networks. I'm Nakala Maddock and I work at Nutrisoil, a liquid biological fertiliser made from a big worm farm whose purpose is to empower farmers to produce life-enriching food.